Okay, welcome everyone to another sports wrap-up. This is a very, 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 very special episode. It's our NFL mock draft. So we have our panel of drafters most likely.
Armchair GMs.
General managers.
Armchair GMs. We have Stephen Claybaker, Matt McMaster, Ryan Dalkin, and Mike Gerling as our, and myself as our 5 general managers today. We each have selected the 32 teams that we're going to be drafting for. Stephen, I'll let you take the mic now and explain the rules of this draft.
All right, basically how we decided this is I put all our names in a random list generator until it got it to where Ryan Nelson had that team up north guaranteed to be drafting for them. And so we assigned teams based on that, and of course with trades that kind of shook some things up, so we reassigned them. But
Yeah, so let's redo the intro. No, I'm kidding.
yeah, just a little bit. So some teams got moved to other people, but everyone's got like 7 or 6 picks, and basically we're picking who we want to pick there. We're not going for accuracy. We're doing what we want to do. So yeah, and all right, starting off with the first overall pick is the Arizona Cardinals, controlled by Mike Gerling. You are on the clock.
Okay, well, I've been planning this pick out for months and months. I've known exactly who I wanted to take here. Well, not really. It's kind of against the grain. Everyone's mock drafts, they're saying Kyler 1, but I don't think that the Arizona Cardinals necessarily need a quarterback because I'll plug a little bit here. There's a YouTube channel that Nelson got me onto.
There you
Brett
go.
Coleman,
Oh yeah.
and he preaches that even though Rosen and Murray, they're probably 2 of the most different quarterbacks you've ever seen. One is hyper athletic and the other is Josh Rosen. But anyways, nonetheless, I still think Rosen is good enough to run this air raid offense that Kingsbury has in Arizona now. They're going to be passing the ball about 75% of the time, and I mean Murray's a good passer of the ball clearly because he's proved that in college, but I feel like Rosen can get the job well enough, so therefore Nick Bosa, first overall pick. They need help off the edge. So there you go. First overall pick in the 2019 NFL draft is Nick Bosa.
Gotta wait for the sound.
So
Defensive end, Ohio State. The Ohio State.
you're saying D end. I'm going to say edge.
Edge rusher, D end.
Yeah, I like that pick. Very quality, obviously going against the grain of like everyone. And if you're the 49ers GM, you got to be disappointed.
Yeah, a little bit.
Which, speaking of which, I'm going to throw it over to the 49ers GM, Ryan Dalkin. You are now on the clock, starting now.
All right, my first job as the general manager of the San Francisco 49ers is to get rid of it completely. I'm just kidding. Okay, so as the 49ers, I am looking for mainly a guy on the defensive end or like an edge rusher, probably because San Francisco's defense in general isn't that good. They've drafted and have a lot of good young guys on the inside D-line, but they need a little bit more on the outside part of the line and kind of just to help with their pass rushing game. And I was going to choose Nick Bosa, but for my pick, I will choose the edge rusher.
Wait! We need the music, Dalkin.
Jesus.
Best the music.
We'll get this
Okay.
now.
Can I go now?
Yes.
Okay.
The thing's on.
So for the second pick in the 2019 NDCP mock draft, I choose the edge rusher Josh Allen out of the University of Kentucky.
So I'm going to barge in right there. I am not a huge fan of Josh Allen. I don't think that, but I you know what? It's not too far off where I had him on my big board, but it's definitely an interesting pick for the 49ers, in my opinion. I just like going for the best player available. And yes, Allen fits a need, but I think that there are better people available if you're the 49ers.
I think that's a good pick, too. I'd say that's a good pick. Obviously, I'd say there maybe was a better player available, but not a better player that the 49ers needed, because it's not like the 49ers need an interior defensive lineman when they've drafted one the past 3 years. which all but pretty much cements Nelson's pick as he is the Jets. So we'll let him ramble on for 1 minute about how he doesn't know who he's going to pick, and then we always know who he's going to pick. So you are on the clock starting now.
Thank you very much, Steven, and thanks Mike and Dalkin for giving me the best player in the draft to pick here at number 3 overall. In my opinion, the Jets right now, they're in a position where they're just picking the best player available. They have the quarterback of the future, Sam Darnold. I'm not a huge fan of him, but he's still a decent quarterback. I think he's going to be there for a while. Offensive line can use some help, but I don't think that my best offensive linemen are not up to par at the 3rd overall pick. And so the pick is in right now with the...
It's just hard because I'm looking at my board.
Of course, with the 3rd overall pick in the 2019 draft, the New York Jets select the defensive tackle out of Alabama, Quinnen Williams. In my opinion, the best player in this draft, number 1 on my big board. I am ecstatic to have him here at number 3 overall.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. I think even though I went Bosa at 1, I think Williams has the raw talent, and he's like already you plug him into your starting lineup, and he's going to do big things on the interior of your line. The only reason I went with the edge at the top spot is because I feel like edge rushers bring a little bit more value to your team. And looking at the edge rushers that Arizona has right now, to go back to myself a little bit, is they've got Chandler Jones and Terrell Suggs, and Terrell Suggs is going to need a wheelchair to get out on the field pretty soon because he's getting up there in age.
Sure.
So I think
He went to the
Bosa fills
retirement home.
Did he really? I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I think I'd agree with you that Williams is the most talented, but I feel like edge rusher is more valuable.
Okay. Well, there we go. So that's Quinnen Williams, 3rd overall of the Jets. Now on the clock, the Oakland Raiders.
All right, starting
the John
for me,
Gruden Oakland Raiders.
Me over here, John Gruden Jr., Chucky Jr., whatever. So I'm in a very interesting position where I have Kyler Murray just sitting there for me, and although Derek Carr, I believe he can be a good quarterback, the main problem is that they're paying him way too much money for way too little production back. So that's a possible pick. However, that defense was so bad last year. So I pretty much have to ignore Kyler here just for the sake of the rest of the team and bite the bullet with Derek Carr for another year. So when we're looking at positions here, really their pass rush hurt a lot because when you lose probably the best pass rusher in the NFL, Khalil Mack, for scraps, that's kind of a problem. So I'm going to go with the best defensive lineman available, and that is none other than...
Wait.
Let me just pull it
It's
up.
like,
You know what?
yeah. Well, I can't do this because like everyone's taking my picks and I'm freaking out right now. And I can't.
Play the music in your head.
Dun, 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 dun.
Ed Oliver, stud, Houston.
Ed Oliver goes
Stud.
4th
Houston
overall.
Muffin.
That's, you know what? I'm a fan of that pick. I'm a huge fan of Ed Oliver. I think that he just got overshadowed at Houston this year because he didn't have the greatest year and he just wasn't playing in the right positions. I think that in the NFL, you'll find the best position for him to play. I think that he's a great pick. What position are you giving him?
What?
What position are you giving him? Defense?
Defense? Maybe a little tight end, you know?
Yeah,
You never
one-man
know.
defense.
You never know. A little defense. You could probably
Okay.
play a little middle linebacker if
I like
you know.
that pick.
He can play
Montez
anywhere.
Burfict decides to hit someone up again. All right. Now with our next pick, we end up going to the man, the myth, the Matt McMaster with the Buccaneers. You
Wait.
are on the clock.
We're due 3?
That was 4.
Oh.
That was 4th overall. So just a recap of the first
Okay.
4 picks so far. Nick
Oh,
Bosa
you
goes 1st
forgot.
overall to the Cardinals.
That's
Josh
just-
Allen goes 2nd overall to the 49ers. Then we have Quinnen Williams going to the Jets. And Ed Oliver going to the Raiders at 4. Matt McMaster's on the clock with the Buccaneers at 5.
So, I'm in a tough position here, the 5th pick. If I was the actual Buccaneers GM, I'd trade out of this situation, but we're not allowed to do
Redskins,
that. That's
look out.
fine.
Redskins
I
are
would,
looking
yeah.
at that.
Redskins are looking to move up. I would try to trade out of the situation. I mean, the guys that I was looking to get, Josh Allen, gone. Quinnen Williams gone. I'm not a big Montez Sweat guy. So I'm looking here, and my team needs are very high. I need help in the defensive end, I also need help with my QB. Now, Bruce Arians told me, his armchair GM, that he wants to work with Jameis Winston. So I'm not going to take
Dang it.
Kyler Murray.
I was
It
excited for you to take Kyler.
It was very tempting, but I can't go there. Now, we're in a 3-4 Todd Bowles defense here, so the linebacker is a huge position. So with the 5th pick in the NDCP 2019 mock NFL draft, I'm going to take Devin White, linebacker, LSU.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't ready.
If you didn't hear that, Devin White is my pick, linebacker at LSU. He's going to roam the field. He's a sideline linebacker. He's going to really hold down my defense for the foreseeable future. So that's what I'm going to go for.
I don't mind that pick, honestly.
I like that pick too.
I think that, especially coached by Bruce Arians, I think that he's going to have a decent career. He's just got to get. He's very raw coming out of LSU. I know it's kind of an oxymoron to say, but I think that he can still be a very productive linebacker in the league.
All right, and that ends off our first go around.
Our first 5 picks.
Now we could probably get the first offensive player in the draft with Gurling, although we never know.
By the way, I want to say something real quick. I think it's awful that I go 5. That this is not a snake format. All right, I got the 5th pick, the 10th pick, the 15th pick, and I'm getting the scraps over here. So
The first 5 picks are on your screen right
Gurling.
now.
Anyways,
Gurling, number 6.
Your New York Football Giants are on the
I am
clock.
dreaming right now if I'm a Giants fan because I just finessed the draft board from the top spot down because he's fallen right into my hands right here. And everyone's saying Murray's going 1 and then Haskins maybe at 6. No, he's here. We're taking him. Kyler Murray.
Wait, gotta get the music.
Oh,
Get the
yes.
music.
that's Playmaker's job now. It's a tough job, isn't it?
With the 6th pick in the 2019 NFL draft, the New York Giants select Kyler Murray, quarterback, Oklahoma.
That was the most straightforward answer. Like, yeah, we're just taking Kyler. Like
Just no more occurrence, just
usually
taking Kyler.
people just beat around the bush for a little bit, but no, you're just going straight. Okay.
Yes,
Well,
I guess so.
Honestly, if I'm the Giants, but I get Kyler Murray this year, I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm not a huge fan of Dwayne Haskins, so if Kyler's off the board, I'm not taking a quarterback if I'm
We gotta
them.
get a new coach though.
The Giants
Pat
need a
Shermer's
quarterback.
just fine, okay? Give him an actual offense to work with.
Can you really give him Kyle? Like he's not a very he's not a Matt Nagy. All right.
He's not, but
he's not a Willy Wonka.
He made Case
all right?
Keenum look like
And
an
now,
MVP
but now
candidate.
but Kyler Murray's not Case Keenum.
All right.
Kyler Murray.
Okay.
Exactly,
All
he's much more
I
talented.
get to
talk about my pick a little
Listen,
bit.
let him
I
talk
get
a
to talk
little
about
bit.
I'm
my
sorry.
pick a little bit.
Read
Sorry.
option.
Okay.
Please talk about.
Everyone's
the read option.
freaking out. Odell's gone. Odell's gone. I like the move. As someone pointed out, he's a cancer to the locker room. But whatever. We're not talking politics. We're not talking politics right now. We're just looking at offensive weapons.
Odell.
And if you look at what the Giants have now, Kyler Murray, Saquon Barkley, Golden Tate, Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram. I mean, you just lost arguably a top 3 receiver, but you still have a really good-looking offense there. I mean, Murray's easily the most athletic quarterback in this draft. You could do a lot of things with him on offense. On top of having one of the best running backs in the league, you can say that now in the backfield. I think that's a scary-looking offense next year if they get Kyler
All
Murray.
right, and that leads us to our Jacksonville Jaguars,
Jacksonville Jaguars.
GM'd by Ryan Dalkin. You
Dalkin?
are now on the clock.
Let me know when the pick is in, okay? Because, you could talk for a little bit what the Jaguars want.
So now I am here with the Jaguars. The Jaguars, if you didn't know, picked up
Are an NFL
the
team.
one and only Nick Foles. They now have Nick Foles as a quarterback, so they don't need another quarterback. Their defense is doing has been okay. However, they need some more offense. They don't have a lot of receivers. They don't have a good offensive line, so they need to find a good offensive player that can help boost their offense and maybe give Mr. Foles a little bit of space and a little bit of time. That's why, in my pick, if you want to play the music,
The pick is in.
with the 7th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Jawan Taylor, the offensive lineman from Florida.
Good pick.
That's-
I like that pick.
I really like this guy. He's a big dude, stands 6'5", 312 pounds. He's got a lot of strength, and he can really help out the offensive line for the Jaguars. And I think that's exactly what they need with the addition of Nick Foles. A big offensive line guy like Jawan Taylor can really help boost their offense.
Yeah, now maybe, they'll throw maybe 20 passes a game instead of like 15 or 10 because they actually have a quarterback.
There you go.
All right, with the next pick,
Okay.
we have Ryan Nelson.
Is Jawan spelled with 2 A's?
Uh,
It's Jawan.
Jawan.
I'm sorry.
We're not submitting
I'm
this
doing
to the
double.
league.
I'm doing like triple duty right now,
Yeah, we have
and I'm kind of trying to bide some time because I need to mentally prepare for this.
Ryan Nelson, GM for your
Okay.
Detroit Ford Motor Factory Giants.
Okay.
On the clock,
No.
starting now.
Your
I-
Detroit dumpster fire.
The Detroit Lions are the hardest team for me to pick. I absolutely hate that I have this pick. I got to be honest. Thanks, Steven.
Hey, you wanted the Vikings.
I did want the Vikings,
It's a
but
bad spot
Just what
a
would the
bad team.
Patriots do?
exactly
You know?
the Lions. They made the signings of Trey Flowers, Justin Coleman in free agency to help shore up something. I don't know how much it really helped them, but it did something to them. They could use some cornerbacks. I mean, they have Darius Slay on one side, but opposite him, really no one else. But in my opinion, I don't think there's any cornerback worthy of going 8th overall. So no Byron Murphy, no Greedy Williams here. Wide receiver. I love myself some DK Metcalf, but he's not my pick. I know.
You like
I do love DK, but I think that
No,
eighth.
I was like shocked that he
I don't think he's worth the 8th overall pick. I think that there's a better talent for Matt Stafford to throw to. The pick is in.
Eric
And
Ebron
with-
2.0.
And with the 8th overall pick, the Detroit Lions are proud to select from Iowa the tight end Noah Fant.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
The different one.
I much prefer Noah Fant as the receiving tight end. I know that they can use some blocking tight ends in Detroit, but in my opinion, I think Noah Fant is the overall, not the overall better tight end, but receiving wise and skill position wise, I think he's the better player to come out of those 2 Iowa tight
I
ends.
think Detroit is where tight ends go to die. That's how that works out.
All right.
You just go to Indianapolis. And
So
like,
now
resurrect his
I am
career.
currently on the clock for your Buffalo Bills Mafia Bills, and I'm kind of a problem. I kind of have a problem here because defense is not a problem, although interior could be the move. Although I don't see anyone that's really valuable here at number 9. Maybe a little bit later.
Okay.
However, this offense needs some help because Josh Allen can't just run all over the field. Eventually he's actually got to throw a couple balls downfield, maybe a few fewer interceptions.
No, I know.
So really, I'm looking here at offensive line or some sort of weapon. And if I'm gonna be honest, their tight ends right now are kind of questionable.
What do you mean? Charles Clay's a beast.
He's not on the team anymore.
Okay, even better.
They cut him. So I would have probably gone Noah Fant here, but here now the pick is in. I have to go TJ Hawkinson, tight end out of Iowa. Maybe the Buffalo Bills can stop playing 1920s football where they just have Superman carry the ball every time. But yeah, that's the pick.
So
I like
two-
his
Sit back, tight end.
2 Iowa tight ends going back to back in the draft.
I like his blocking, so when eventually, since Shady is kind of a bum now, they can just run with power behind Hawkinson. And yeah, I think the pick is overall pretty good for the Bills.
Okay.
So up next, we have
McMaster with the Broncos.
the Denver Broncos, headed by your Matthew McMaster.
So we got Joe Flacco.
Please do it, Matt. Matt, you gotta do it. You gotta do it.
Here's the
Ruin
problem.
Mike's chances. With the
Do
Bills.
it.
Yeah.
Look, the dilemma I have here is that you got some QBs on the board,
A couple.
and you got Devin Bush. Okay. The the Vic Fangio defense, requires a strong linebacker to head the middle of it.
How much time we got on the clock?
You got 15 seconds.
15 seconds to make the pick.
You want to tank for Tua next year with the Redskins?
You also have Rashawn Gary.
Oh, is he still on the board?
Rashawn Gary's still on the board.
I don't.
How much time?
Ooh.
Play the music. Play the music,
You gotta
Steven.
get a pick in here.
Gotta play the music. Let's go. Pick is in.
With the 10th selection of the 2019 NDCP NFL Draft, Denver Broncos select Dwayne Haskins, quarterback of the Ohio State University.
Oh, if you're the Bengals here, you must be writhing at the fact that you gotta keep Andy Dalton.
So
The Red
yeah,
Rocket.
it honestly could go either way. I think the safe pick is Devin Bush, but Elway loves his quarterbacks. I guess I'm John Elway in this case. I love me some big old quarterbacks. So we're going with Dwayne Haskins. In the actual draft though, come draft day, Devin Bush could definitely be a selection here for the Denver Broncos.
Okay. Now, because we're at 10 picks in, does anyone want to start talking about who thinks has the best draft so far out of the five of us? Who do you think's made the best two selections? Each of us have had two selections. Who has made the best two selections? Again, the draft so far: Nick Bosa, Josh Allen, Quinnen Williams, Ed Oliver, Devin White, Kyler Murray, Jawan Taylor, Noah Fant, T.J. Hawkinson, and Dwayne Haskins.
I was
Talent-wise or filling needs-wise?
Wherever.
just in your
best.
opinion, who's made
Best.
some good picks? I'd say Gurling's done a good
Gurley,
job.
yeah.
He got
Well, because Gurling has
got
the first
so-
and 6 picks. What do you mean? Of course he should.
Gurling
do
got
well.
real lucky with Kyler Murray there.
And he also got Nick Bosa, so...
He got the best. He got the two best players because he has the first 2 picks.
Okay, I'm choosing Clay Baker. I think Clay Baker's Ed Oliver and Hawkinson are great picks right there. Bills could use Hawkinson a lot, and the Raiders could use a defensive playmaker like Oliver.
If I got Devin Bush, I would argue that I had the best draft.
I would
the
say
two best linebackers, true.
Yeah, but I went with Dwayne Haskins.
All
Only
right.
'cause
Okay.
to spice up this draft.
Now
Okay.
we have the Bengals and Gurling on the clock, and you must be a little mad that you just missed out on replacing the Red Rocket.
With McMaster said the name a couple times here, but I was looking at 2 people in this spot from the beginning of the draft, and Matt was saying both their names, so I
Yeah.
figured whoever he isn't going to take, I was going to pounce on.
Oh, that's a great pick.
They just lost Mr. Suspension, Vontez Burfict, so I think this is a see a need, fill a need situation for the Cincinnati Bengals, so play that music. With the 11th pick of the 2019 NDCP NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Devin Bush, inside linebacker, Michigan.
Go blue.
I like that pick. I like that pick a lot.
Yeah, I think it's more so
You're not good.
Vontez
I got
Burfict.
accepted there.
He got a lot of hate because he
Odd flex,
got
but
a lot
okay.
of suspensions. But I mean, he was still a good linebacker when he was on the field. So now that they lose him, they lose a hole in the middle of that defense. So I think they just fill that right away with a Devin Bush plug-and-play starter at inside linebacker.
There you
And
go.
who knows? Maybe Michigan will let Shea Patterson throw the ball for once this season. All right, we move on to the Cheeseheads up north,
Boo.
GM'd by Ryan Dalkin. You are now on the clock.
Unfortunately, I do have the Packers with me. But
Why are you so quiet?
Why are you so
because
quiet?
I hate being the Packers. Anyways,
50 seconds.
my initial pick was to try and get Devin Bush. I kind of figured he wasn't going to be on the board. However, there is still another Wolverine on the board
Okay.
that
Oh.
I think the Packers are in desperate need of. And my pick is it.
Wait. Okay, the pick's in.
In the 12th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select Rashawn Gary, the defensive lineman from Go Blue, Michigan.
Stud.
Rashawn Gary is an actual stud, as Clay Baker just said. I was expecting him maybe to go number 6, maybe top 5 even. He was extremely good. He was a number 1 prospect going into college, and he's a fantastic pick, and I think the Packers definitely need some defensive help, even though they just got a lot of pass rushers to help out their defense. This will just help stack their defense even more.
All right. Thank you for that, Mr. Nelson.
Okay.
Not Nelson.
Dalkin.
Now we move
Ryan.
over to
Wrong
the
Ryan.
other.
Okay.
To the other
I would like to make a request to
Ryan.
everyone who's on the doc that we're sharing, get off of it right now, okay? Get off of it. Because the pick is in.
Oh, really?
The pick is in.
Okay. Well, let me just pull it up.
And, you know, I'm the Bengals. I'm the Dolphins right here. I'm desperate. I need to save my job ASAP. In my opinion, I'm getting the second best quarterback in this draft. At the number 13 pick, the Miami Dolphins select Drew Lock out of the University of Missouri.
This ain't it, Chief.
Okay.
No Fitzmagic. No Fitzmagic.
Don't give it up
Lock.
on Fitzmagic.
Hey! Can I explain my pick really quick?
Yeah, sure.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to yell. I'm sorry.
okay.
I apologize.
You should
No,
apologize.
but when it comes to Drew Lock, I see a guy who's got the best arm talent in the draft. I see a guy who has mobility not to the level of Kyler, but better than Haskins. I see a guy who's made some dumb throws. But I see a guy in Ryan Fitzpatrick who can mentor him for this year. He does not rush to play this year because Fitzmagic will happen. And when Fitzmagic happens, the Dolphins will go 3-13. First overall pick next year. They'll pick a great defensive player to go with whoever they want to put on their offense with Drew Lock at their head. I think Drew Lock's pick right here. I think he's the second best quarterback in the draft, like I said earlier. And so I love this pick right here if you're the Dolphins.
I mean, if they go 3-13, Drew Lock's gonna play this year.
What? Yeah, up next in the draft. So here, if they go 3-13,
Drew Lock's definitely gonna play this year.
he will play this year, but in my opinion, he doesn't need to. He really doesn't need to.
But he's going to.
All right.
Now-
Up next, we have the Atlanta Falcons, the Dirty Birds, picking number 14, and that is going to be me. Well, when I look at Atlanta, there's a couple needs that I identified. One, interior defensive line has been pretty bad for a little while now, especially with some of their veterans retiring or leaving. Safety could be a concern, cornerback. So basically every position on defense needs some help. So I'm basically going to take the best defensive player currently right now. I think that's quite clearly
Pick is in.
Jeffrey Simmons, Mississippi State defensive
dang it.
tackle, also known as the guy that made Montez Sweat look good.
I absolutely love that pick. I wanted Jeffrey Simmons. I was hoping he's going to drop a little bit farther down the board, but he didn't. And I think it's a great pick for the Falcons.
Yeah, he reminds me as a little bit less athletic Ed Oliver, but he's still super athletic too, and I love his bull rush too. So yeah, that's the pick. So at number 15,
It's McMaster with the
We
Redskins.
have the Redskins and
This is an interesting
McMasters,
pick.
So
and we really
This
yeah,
is probably the third time I could be like, yeah, I want to trade my pick. But the Redskins are a dumpster fire. Let's just get that out there.
Okay.
Alex Smith. I don't think he wanted to get injured.
They're just a dump. They're absolutely. My internet's not working right now. That's amazing. They're absolutely horrible. They are going to be the worst team in the NFL next year.
I could buy that.
Without a doubt. So, to me, the surefire thing in the NFL draft in terms of position is offensive lineman. I feel like that you rarely see you'll see bust in offensive linemen, but probably the least out of any positions in the draft. So I'm gonna take to protect Case Keenum.
I'm sorry, I can't take that seriously.
Because I was gonna take Drew Lock,
yeah.
but he's off the board now. So I'm gonna try to protect Case Keenum for this year. Tank for Tua. So I'm gonna protect Tua Tagovailoa.
Tua Tagovailoa.
Tagovailoa.
Tua Tagovailoa. I'm going to take the second best O-lineman in the draft, Jonah Williams,
Okay.
out of Alabama.
It's a very solid pick,
And
man.
you know,
That's a solid pick. That's
yeah.
very solid.
All right.
Literally nothing I can say about that pick is bad.
I think, and Mike's going to get a kick out of this, I think he's going to be the next David Bakhtiari. I honestly think that. I mean, he's just a great, pass blocking O-lineman.
Honestly, I don't know why people are so low on him. I know his arms aren't very long, but hey, he's got like the best technique.
But the length. Oh no, what can we do?
So he's
He's like he's not a dinosaur. I think that T-Rex just like flailing his arms. It's just he's got somewhat shorter arms. I think he's still very good.
If you can ball, you can ball. All right, we got 2 back-to-back picks, but for 2 different teams.
It's Mike.
For the one and only
Yeah.
Mike Erling.
How did this happen?
Because the Giants traded.
Giants
That's the
traded.
Mike magic.
Giants traded. Okay, they wanted to get rid of that cancer, as Mike said earlier.
Gerling's going to have the best draft because he's got the most picks.
Hey, that's what you do with
well,
it. All right.
Right now, my pick, I've got 16
By the way, we
with
have
the
the
Panthers.
Panthers, yeah.
So this was an interesting pick for me, and I'll be honest, I forgot I had the pick after this one too. So this is a little bit of me wanting to put a specific player on my team that I'm picking next. So with my pick, number 16 with the Carolina Panthers, I'm going with an offensive lineman because I feel like, so I think we're going back-to-back O-linemen. I think Nelson knows who I'm going with now. Maybe he wanted him for the Vikings.
Maybe.
Is your boy out of Washington State, Nicky Mickey's teammate. Shout out Nick McManaman. Play the music, play the music.
Oh yeah.
Oh gosh.
So with the 16th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Andre Dillard, offensive tackle out of Washington State.
Solid.
No,
You think he's
Dude had
Yeah, him
I'm
and
a
Nick
sad.
McManaman
I'm
are
a
definitely
sad
best
Vikings
friends.
fan right now. If that.
he had
if that
over
big.
like 800 pass block sets, and he only allowed 1 sack.
Really?
It's insanity how good he is pass blocking.
Because he
just-
played for the area. Like he's pass blocking all the time. He's gonna be the best pass blocker in the draft.
True.
There we go. That's what we like to see. Anyways, he fills a gap at tackle. O-line is, if I had to pick a weak spot in the Panthers team right now, they've got a lot of young, high potential players in their secondary. So their secondary is a little bit weak, but they've got room to grow there. But I think their O-line definitely needs the most work. That's why they see the need there, and they fill the need at tackle with Andre Dillard. And then, who's next? Looks like it's me again with the Giants at 17. So I think this is just a matter of, actually, I'm debating between 2 teammates right now. I don't know if that tells you guys anything.
Ooh, are we
But-
getting?
I think
Do they go to a certain Mississippi school or no?
they do. No, not a Mississippi
Ooh,
school.
okay.
Ooh.
Are your national champions? They're a team and pair of national champions. I'm thinking between.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
I think watching the national championship, this guy had a field day.
No!
Field day with the Alabama
I hate
offensive
this
line.
so much.
So the Giants,
I'm gonna cry.
they've got a. I think they have one of the more underrated defenses in the NFL. It's just that the lack of offensive efficiency forces their defense to stay on the field for longer, and that's never really good for a defense. So they're going interior lineman. Let me play the music. With the 17th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the New York Football Giants select Clelin Ferrell, defensive tackle, Clemson.
Okay.
Solid pick.
So.
Wait. Not defensive. Christian Wilkins, defensive
No,
tackle.
no, you
No,
can't.
Farrell's not a defensive tackle. You know what I
Dang
mean.
it.
Okay.
I
got
was so
caught up on the
excited
teammates
for like
there.
2 seconds.
Whoops.
I got so excited.
He had his hopes
Whoops.
up.
Sorry, Nelson.
Whoops-a-daisy. All right, which
Christian
leads
Wilkins.
us to
Sorry about
Yeah.
that, guys.
Yeah,
our,
thanks.
our fan of the Factory of Sadness, not in Detroit.
I'm livid right now. Okay, I'm a little
Picking
mad.
for the
I'm
Vikings.
chilling. I don't have a pick till
Because-
pick 23rd. Like, I'm just sitting here. Like, I got nothing.
So-
Gerling's taking all my picks.
My rationale for the Vikings, I was going to surprise everyone. I was going to pick Christian Wilkins because I think the Vikings would be perfect for him. He's a great character guy. They're losing some character.
take a
They
while.
lost so many leaders in the locker room. Christian Wilkins comes in, he's a leader right away, plays a position they can use some help at. It'd be a perfect fit, in my opinion, for the Vikings to take Christian Wilkins. But now I'm kind of stuck finding another guy. The next highest guy on my draft board is Brian Burns out of Florida State. I don't think he fits the scheme at all with the Vikings, and so I'm just not going to pick him. I'm going to overpass him. my boy's there. My boy DK's there. But we have Thielen and Diggs. I'm going to let him pass. The next highest guy on my board, again, I really am not a fan of any player available right now.
So trade.
But we can't.
We can't, Matt.
Give you.
What? What are you going to give me?
I'll give you my pick, and I'll give you the Steelers' first round pick and third round pick.
You know what? No.
I think that's good enough to move up 3 spots.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to pick up. The pick is in, by the way. I just want to make mention of
my
that. The
bad.
pick is in. The dejected Vikings fan selects the necessity pick, Cody Ford.
Yeah.
Dang it!
Finally. He was telling me for so long, the Vikings aren't going to pick linemen. The Vikings aren't going to pick
Because I
linemen."
thought that Christian Wilkins was going to be available.
Dude, Kirk Cousins was going to die Game of Thrones style by week 7 if they didn't pick a lineman. And you know it. Anyways, and we move on to your Tennessee Titans, the hosts of the actual draft. And I got to say, when I'm picking for them, and I got to say, when looking at this team is filled with a bunch of average players destined to go 9-7 for eternity. So we really just need about pretty much anybody except for quarterback, because we're just hoping and praying that Marcus somehow figures it out, except he looks a lot like the guy that is backing him up, Ryan Tannehill. So I'm probably gonna look defense here, seeing as both tight ends got taken. So can't replace.
There's a receiver on the board still.
Oh, that average one got it. Anyways, so I'm probably gonna take defense here, and linebackers kind of thin, but Jarrell Casey's starting to get up there a little bit in age. So I'm gonna be taking the defensive tackle out of that school in South Bend, Jerry Tillery. He looks so good, except for the fact that people say he had bad stats because he played injured the entire season. But I really like him. I think he's going to do a great job on that defensive line.
Wow.
And seeing as the edge rushers, Brian Burns is a little unproven. Colin Farrell's okay, but maybe not suited well enough for the 3-4. And Montez Sweat is super overrated, in my opinion.
Okay.
So we're going to go with
You
Jerry
just chose the
Tillery.
guy from Notre Dame.
I know. Hey.
Are you okay?
Hey.
Do we need to rescind your Michigan fan card?
Baller's got a ball, man, all right? If you can't ball, you're not playing.
Whatever.
If you ball, you gonna get the call. Thanks, Dion.
That's such a dumb segment, but at the same time, it's catchy. All right. Who is picking 20th, Mr. Nelson?
McMaster's.
Matthew
With the
McMaster.
Steelers, I believe? Yeah.
So the Pittsburgh Steelers, interesting team to pick for.
Days of our Steelers.
I'm looking at a lot of the
move by
guys.
the Steelers today too.
What did they do?
Extension for Big
Oh
Ben.
my God, that's
Oh,
terrible.
dumb.
That's a terrible move.
I didn't make the move.
What the heck, Matt? Why'd you do that?
Come on, Matt.
So
He was just a general
think-
manager for 2 minutes.
I think Brian Farrell or Brian Burns is a little too raw for my liking. We got a bunch of guys who are gonna get to the passer with T.J. Watt. We just traded a cancer, Antonio Brown.
Do it.
20
Do it, Matt.
seconds,
Do
So
it, Matt.
I'm gonna pick the best guy here at his position.
Wait. We gotta do the music.
I feel like Nelson's going to be kind of disappointed.
I feel like we're gonna pick the best guy here at his position. He's fallen a little bit, which I like. He had a great combine. I'm gonna select Greedy Williams, cornerback, LSU. When you look at the AFC South or the AFC North, you got a lot of wide receivers there. Jarvis Landry, Antonio Brown. What? Why are you laughing?
Because I'm just seeing. I saw the Ravens first, and when you
Yeah.
said receiver talent on the Ravens, sorry, I kind of laughed. a little bit.
I'm just talking
I
about
know,
the Browns
in general.
specifically.
In general, the
Like they
Browns.
got, so
They did good.
you need a cornerback out there that's gonna go and cover him. So that's my pick. Greedy Williams, probably the best cornerback in the draft. Byron Murphy, you could argue from Washington. He's. I mean, they're neck and neck, but I think Greedy's the best. He's a leader. He's a proven guy. So yeah.
No.
I hate DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf is gonna be a bust.
Cool.
But the 1.9% body fat.
Can you run a route though? Can you run a post? Can
He
you run a
can.
slant?
He
No,
can.
he can't.
He can. He
cannot.
just never was used. Okay, fine. You know what? He's not even
He
picked
can't
yet.
run a
He's
route.
not even picked yet. So let's just calm
Nelson,
down.
he can't run a route.
Let's
All
calm
right,
down.
who is picking Nelson?
I believe it's Gerling. Let me just check to make sure.
The
It's
Seahawks.
Gerling again.
Seahawks.
It's Gerling again. It's the Seahawks.
With the Hawks, Seahawks Twitter is expecting a good pick. No
As
pressure.
perfect as my picks are going, I was looking at Greedy right here until Matt took him because I feel like right now the Seattle offense, their O-line overperformed last year, maybe a little bit, but maybe that's just, I mean, that's what they're going to be rolling with next year. I'm not going O-line here. I'm going rebuilding the Legion of Boom. They just lost Frank Clark, who might be the most overpaid player in the NFL
my God,
right
that was
now.
so dumb.
Third highest paid defensive player ever, Frank Clark.
Exactly.
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 Anyways, so now they can fill that spot with someone. So the pick is in, by the way.
Okay, the pick
Oh,
is in.
okay.
Give me 1
I
second.
kind of picked this guy already, but that should be a clue. Anyways, so with the 21st pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Clellan Ferrell, defensive end, Clemson. I mean, that whole Clemson D-line from last year, I think they're going to have 3 that should go in the top, 2 that have already gone in the top
21.
20, what
21 picks.
And there should be 1 more that goes before the end of this
Dexter Lawrence.
round. Yeah. So anyways, he's got the elite pass rusher skills. He's going to cost you no money because he's a rookie. And now you might have got rid of Frank Clark, who was a good pass rusher, but I don't think he had over 10 sacks last year.
Not 105
No,
million.
not
good
that much
type
money.
of
So anyways,
player.
they're instantly filling a need at edge rusher and coming out of normally the edge rushers out of big schools, unless maybe it's Montez Sweet, they're pretty safe picks to be at least somewhat decent in the NFL to plug into your lineup week 1.
I like
It's a decent
that.
pick. Decent pick.
You know, that Seahawks
Thanks,
defensive
guys.
line. I mean,
It's
there's
just-
no
it's
one
just
there. It's a
average.
bunch of no names.
No, but okay, there was a time last year where I'm pretty sure they were top 5 in sacks, and not a single person on their D line had over 7.
Yeah.
So it's like everyone is just average, and everyone is perfect at being average
True.
on that
Right.
D line.
That's true.
Who is picking next?
Okay, you know what? I am picking next.
For who?
The Baltimore Ravens.
DK. DK?
The Baltimore
DK?
Ravens
DK?
have the 22nd pick in the draft.
There are 3 other wide receivers that are better than.
If I'm the
DK.
Ravens here, I
Yeah.
am throwing the pick in as soon as possible.
No.
No, don't play the
No.
music yet.
No,
Stop.
he's gonna be a bust.
Is this DK?
What I
Let
see,
the man speak.
what I see in AJ Brown is a guy who was used much more often and in better spots in Ole Miss than his counterparts. And I think that his stats got overinflated because of that. Hakeem Butler, I see as an Iowa State kid who's a very good player, can run routes, but doesn't have as high of a ceiling as the guy I'm going to pick. I see Hollywood Brown, the kid out of Oklahoma. Very fast kid. You know, he can blaze down the sidelines. He's got the tall speed. You know, he can run a little bit. But the pick is in with the Baltimore Ravens. And with the 22nd pick in the 2019 NDCP NFL mock draft, the Baltimore Ravens select DK Metcalf, who I think is a fine receiver, was not utilized to his full potential in Ole Miss. I think that the combine shows he's an athletic freak. Cool. I don't care about the athletic freak stuff as much. I know there's the pictures up there right now, but you know what? I don't care that 1.5% body fat or whatever it is. I see a guy who can blaze down the sidelines, is a giant out there, plays huge, can run routes when he's given the chance to run routes, and a guy that Lamar Jackson is going to love, right? Lamar Jackson, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Lamar Jackson's going to love with throwing the ball to.
I like the pick, to be honest, because I feel like the Ravens, their big loss last year was who? Eric Weddle on the defensive side of the ball,
Yes.
and they improved with an even better safety.
Yes.
So I don't think their defense is going to be an issue at all. you're adding a young receiver that can develop with Lamar Jackson. I mean, I think they had an underrated receiving core last year. They've got Hayden Hurst at tight end. He'll develop into something good. They've
Mark
got a lot of
Andrews was killing it
solid
last
tight
year
ends.
too.
They've got Willie Snead, who I think is an underrated wide receiver. He's never going to be more than like a number 3 wide receiver, but John Brown too. I think he's still on the Ravens.
I bet he is.
The
John Brown,
speedster.
yes.
John Brown is still on the Ravens. I think that Metcalf adds a lot of versatility to that offense. I like the pick.
I gotta ask though, who's gonna replace Terrell Suggs and Zadarius Smith?
Doesn't matter.
Ooh. Well, is there an inside linebacker that you're?
No,
No,
those are
not at
pass
all.
rushers.
So
Darius Smith, I swear he.
the
played
only
inside
guy
linebacker.
I
Okay.
was it was either him or Brian Burns.
Yeah,
I think Brian Burns would have been a fine pick here, but in my opinion, I think their defense is going to be fine. I think their secondary is much improved. Honestly, I know they lost a couple guys, but I think Jimmy Smith's killer. I think that Brandon Carr is a pretty good guy. I think that Tony Jefferson's just fine. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Earl Thomas is on the Ravens, correct?
Yeah, he's on.
Earl
the Ravens.
Thomas is on the Ravens. I think Marlon Humphreys, who was a first-round pick a couple years ago. I think Tavon Young's pretty dang good too. I think they have guys in that secondary. It's gonna be just fine, even with some of their losses in the linebacking core.
All right, we have pick 23 now, which is the Texans,
Yep.
headed by your man Dalkin over here.
Finally.
Maybe I'm predicting offensive line here, but let's see.
Well, that's where you're wrong.
Okay.
I mean,
You're probably wondering how I got it.
So I did have an offensive line. I had Cody Ford going. I kind of figured he wasn't gonna, he would be taken by that point. But there's just a guy on defense that no one has taken, and he's fantastic, and he's from, just this awesome state down south that everyone loves to spell. So if the pick is in. Oh.
I don't know if I want to play this for your own sake.
All right. With the 23rd pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Montez Sweat, the edge rusher from Mississippi State.
It's number 6
This ain't it again,
on the
Chief.
draft board.
This ain't it, man.
I love
I
it.
mean,
Let me
I
tell
love
you
it.
what-
I
it's
love
a
it.
good pick.
There are
I think it's a great pick.
There are
The
so
upside's
many
there.
mock
It is.
draft picks
The
that
upside
have
is.
him going
The
top
up-
10, and he's there in number 23. If he's still open, I'm going to take it. I don't care what the Texans need if they need offensive line help. If Montez Sweat is still on the board at 23, you got to take him.
All right.
Got it.
I think
You
he's.
got to take him.
I think it's a great pick. I don't care what Steven says. I think it's a great pick.
Yeah,
He's-
we all have
The
our
potential is just through the roof on that
Yeah, you
kid.
just gotta get the
JJ and
potential.
Jadavion, that's the only question. Where does he fit in?
John, JJ plays
Doesn't
on the
matter.
inside.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't matter.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
It
it.
really that's scary.
Yeah, that's.
JJ, Jadavion, and Montez
Vince Wilfork
Sweat.
comes out of retirement. That's the new
Plays
D-line.
nose. All right, I am selecting for your Oakland Silver
That's
and
an
Black
interesting pick, I think.
Raiders. Now,
Please stop him from falling too
here's
far.
the thing. I really don't know where to go here because safety they have that guy from Connecticut who I'm not gonna.
Obi
try to pronounce.
Melifonwu?
Yeah, him.
Whoa.
Who I feel like is
I
okay.
think they cut him actually
No, why would they cut him?
because he's not doing good.
Anyways, maybe cornerback here, but at the same time.
Yeah, he's on the Patriots now.
Wow, jeez. Okay. Well then.
I
that
didn't
just
mean to
changed-
jump in right there.
That
but-
just changed my perspective entirely, because we're gonna go with probably my favorite
Play the
safety in the
music.
draft. He's kind of an in the box guy, very aggressive, Big Ten school. Gotta represent the local conference. So with the 24th overall pick, the Oakland Raiders select Darnell Savage, Maryland. And I like the pick in the box safety. Really surprisingly good at baiting routes in zone coverage. Pretty good in the run. Obviously, kind of questionable versus man, but I still think he'll be a solid pick
Okay.
to improve that secondary and that defense. Defense, which at number 4, like I said, is just awful.
I'm conflicted by that pick because I have a bunch of safeties ahead of him. I like Nasir Adderley out of Delaware. I like Chauncey Gardner-Johnson out of Florida. When you said Big Ten, I was thinking Amani Hooker out of Iowa because I have him rated high on my board over Darnell Savage. But it's an interesting pick. I'll give you that.
All right, at number 25, we have
McMaster with the Eagles.
McMaster and the
You kind of got
Eagles.
some boring teams to pick from.
I know, I
These
know.
are all good
well, I'm gonna be honest. Clay Baker kind of took my pick, so my response is
Hey, I'm just here so I don't get fined. Answer with the same answer, so y'all can shoot if y'all please.
okay. So
He did get fined to that, right?
No, he didn't.
I'm just here.
No, I thought he did for
So
beforehand.
no. So I'm looking here at the Eagles. We traded for Jordan Howard. So I think Jay Ajayi, he's still on our team, right?
Yeah, nope.
Isn't he a free agent?
Free agent.
Yeah.
Well, look, I like Jordan Howard. Our offensive
Potential
line is
Indianapolis
our offensive line is the best in the league. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna kind of bolster up my defense. I'm sorry, everyone's like not happy on.
I wanted you to take
Josh.
Josh Jacobs.
I know,
Hey,
but
hey, man.
I'm gonna
Hey.
take.
Indy.
Oh,
look
yeah.
out, maybe.
I'm gonna take arguably the best cornerback
Okay.
in the draft. I'm gonna take Byron Murphy, cornerback out of Washington. I think that in terms of like who's got the best draft so far, just in like my turn.
Don't even say it.
I mean, I've with the boring teams I've had to pick from. I feel like I've done a really great job.
You've done the most with what you got.
It's cute
Yeah.
that you think that, man.
I mean, I got the two best quarterbacks in the game. I got the best, quarterback in the game. Second best offensive tackle, the best linebacker. I mean,
I don't know.
All right, and that means that's a wrap on that.
I'm on the clock, I believe,
Which
correct?
means that we are on the clock with the Colts and yours truly, Ryan Nelson.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I gotta be honest. I'm just not a fan right now.
of what?
Of anything. When I look at what the Colts need, this is a team that could definitely use some help everywhere, except at the quarterback position and except on the offensive line. As good as they were last year, their defense, when you look at it, it's still not great. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to make sure my pick is going to sit well with everyone here. I need to make sure that I'm doing what I want to do. The guy I'm picking right now, he's a guy who's been flying under the radar for some people. I believe that the last thing I saw from Bleacher Report had him around ranked 74th. But the pick is in.
What?
And with this pick from the Colts at 26 overall, the Indianapolis Colts select from the University of Temple, Rocky Ya-Sin. Easily the best name in the draft.
Best name in the draft, I gotta say.
I don't know who that is.
He's a cornerback from Temple who can play down in the box and he can play out. He's great in man coverage, great in zone coverage. He plays very physically as well. He's very good in press technique. His footwork's pretty good. He's got athleticism. He tackles. He's got ball skills. Everything you want in a cornerback, in my opinion. The Colts, they can use some help on defense, and I think that Rocky Ya-Sin gives them that.
All right, thank you for that pick, Nelson. And now we move on to the Raiders again. With as we may be some pretty good armchair GMs, but man, like you gotta think about it. Like John Gruden assembled 2 playoff teams last year with his trades, so respect to him. So hopefully I can live up to that. But no, I've addressed defense with those 2 picks, but then again, the offense hasn't been that good either. So I'm really like a little conflicted here because I don't know whether to go line or a skill position. And I see Dalton Reisner here, and he looks good. So does Garrett Bradbury. But also some of these wide receivers here, too, could add a little bit. I'm not looking at running back because there's, frankly, way too many good.
Even with Marshawn retiring?
Even with Marshawn just retiring, as the day we're recording this, I'd say probably not. Because they also have Doug Martin, who could maybe be serviceable for a year. So I'm going to channel my inner Al Davis and just pick the fast guy. And the pick is going to be Paris Campbell, wide receiver, Ohio State.
You took a wide receiver.
I did.
Okay. That's fine. You know.
The silence in the room does not bode well,
I mean,
in my
Jordy
opinion.
Nelson.
Jordy
Retired.
Nelson got
Retired. That's what I was saying. He
Okay.
retired.
Terrell Williams, I mean, he's okay, but he's not there for the long term, and I think he'll displace. I think Paris Campbell will displace him immediately, and then there's that guy named Antonio Brown. Might have heard of him. There too.
Never heard of him, actually.
Who
So,
got him for a bag of chips?
so if I'm gonna be honest, this is good. This is really gonna show whether or not Derek Carr has the juice or not
I got
as a quarterback. Because if he can't succeed with all these weapons he has now, then I don't know who will. So now
Okay.
we have who's up next, Ryan?
It is
Chargers.
The Chargers, Ryan Dalkin. You're on the clock.
Yes. So.
Okay, before you start, just side tangent. Did you guys hear that they changed their uniforms permanently to the powder blues?
Yes, that's beautiful.
I love that
That's
move.
beautiful.
That's the best
move of the
move
draft.
ever.
The LT throwbacks. That's what I always think of when I see those jerseys. Is LT and Lorenzo Neal. That combo.
That was the best move
The
ever.
two Bash
Anyways,
brothers.
sorry, Dalkin, you can make your pick.
Yeah, that was my move as general manager. Anyways, so with the Chargers, pretty talented team. I don't really think they need much on offense. Phillip Rivers had a good year last year, and I think that offense is going to keep it up, and they're going to continue to play very well. Their defense is pretty good overall. They've got some good backs. However, I do think they need some more internal defense. I was originally going to pick Jerry Tillery. He was probably not going to be there.
I feel like you said that before.
28th. However, there is someone from a pretty good college. I think a university. I mean, they may have just won the national championship, but my pick is in.
Oh, yeah, I gotta pull out.
You gotta pull out the
I'm not even gonna put the thing up because I'm looking at the powder blue
It's not
jerseys.
even loading, so I'll bump it. Hold on. Yeah, just
Okay.
just make your pick.
Just make
Okay, my pick is the 28th pick from the 2019 NFL Draft. The Los Angeles Chargers select Dexter Lawrence, the defensive lineman from Clemson.
Great pick. Hate the Los Angeles.
Same. That sounds about right.
All right.
I was surprised that he was there at that, but I mean, I guess there was everything else. I don't know. I gotta say, I think I've got some of the best steals, like in this. I've got Dexter Lawrence. Well, I got Montez Sweat at 23rd. I mean, you can say whatever.
All right. That leads us to
The
Mr.
Seahawks.
Girling.
Second Seahawks pick. The
Second Seahawks
the Frank
pick
Clark.
after fleecing the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think this spot I'm going exact same logic. I went with the last pick from the Seahawks. They need defensive help a little bit if you had to pick one area, one phase of the game that they need help in. So I think it's Shaquille is the cornerback, right? Shaquille Griffin
Yes,
is the
Shaquille.
cornerback.
Yes.
I don't know, he's not really an ideal number one corner, but that's who they're going to have next year because
He's a really good two.
yeah, he could be a good two.
He's a really, really good two.
Potentially this guy, who the pick is in, could slot in at their number one corner eventually, probably not right away. So with the 29th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select DeAndre Baker, cornerback out of Georgia. I think he's got a lot of potential to be.
I like that
'cause
pick.
there's a lot of good cornerback history in Seattle, mainly through Richard Sherman. And he doesn't really play similar to Sherman, but he's still got the potential to be that number two corner this year and potentially move up to that number one corner spot next year. And it's a spot they could use help in at cornerback because after Shaquille Griffin, I'm not really sure who they have in the secondary. Bradley McDougal's okay. They got Trey Flowers last year out of Oklahoma State, and I like him. But then it's just another backup, high potential cornerback that could blossom into something
I
special.
like that.
I like the pick.
I like it a lot.
I'm disappointed he's not there for my pick.
All right,
Sorry,
up next
Nelson.
we have the Pack again with their armchair GM, Ryan Dalkin. You are on the clock.
Okay, with the Packers, I who did I pick before with the Packers?
You took Rashawn Gary.
Yeah, so I took Rashawn Gary. So
Jesus,
helped
good
out
pick.
the defense.
It's a dang good pick.
With the Packers, maybe we should focus a little bit more. I said we with the Packers.
Ugh.
Maybe they should focus a little bit on some offense. Get some targets for Aaron Rodgers to throw the ball to. And this guy is still in the draft. I don't know how. But here we go. Here's my pick. Pick is in. With the 30th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select Marquise Brown, the wide receiver from Oklahoma.
Speedy boy.
I think this guy can really help out the Packers offense and just be a great target for Aaron Rodgers in the coming season.
Interesting pick. It's decent.
I like that pick a lot. I'd say he was probably out of the three fast guys of Andy Isabella, Marquise Brown, and Paris Campbell. Like I'd say he was tied with Paris Campbell for the number one. Of course, all of them were above DK.
That number 2 receiver spot in Green Bay is up for grabs because Cobb's now gone and they've got Valdez Scantling.
Equinemius St. Brown. Best name in the
They've got
NFL.
2 Browns at receiver now. So, anyways, there's going to be competition for that second
All
spot.
right, we
Yeah.
are now at pick 31, the last 2 picks of the draft, and we have the one that was fleeced off to Mr. Nelson during
was.
all the trades that were happening.
I honestly do not know what to do with this pick. I'm conflicted between 2 people. I think that the Rams need some help in their secondary. I think Marcus Peters did not have the greatest year last year, and he's up at the end of this year. You do not have much money to spend. Jared Goff's deal's coming up. You got to get some help there. In my opinion, I think the Rams could really use a cornerback in a Julian Love or Amani Aruware or Justin Lane. But in my opinion, those guys just aren't first-round kind of talents. And so in my opinion, the 31st pick is in. And with the 31st pick, the Los Angeles Rams select from Boston College, Chris Lidstrom.
It's a great pick.
What position does he play?
Interior offensive
I
line.
like that a lot because, let's be honest, aside from Andre Whitworth and Greg Stafford, actually no, Greg Stafford left, so yeah, they need some help.
They
there.
need some help.
They've got some dinosaurs on that old line. So
That's
They do.
anything young is going to be
All right.
a plus.
The final pick.
Final pick for Matt McMaster's boring team draft.
So do you think, you mentioned Tom's age at the draft.
We're on to Cincinnati.
Do you think having a 37-year-old
We're on to Cincinnati. It's nothing about the past, nothing about the future. It's right now we're preparing for Cincinnati.
Okay. We're on to make our pick right here.
Okay.
That's what we're on to. I'm gonna.
Whoa.
Hey.
Hey, we're good. You know what? My pick here is gonna be a guy who I think is the second best at his position, who has fallen, who is a gift to the New England Patriots. I think he's put up so good numbers because he is just good. This guy is just a good player, and it's not about the situations that he was put in. It's because he's a good player and he's better than his counterpart. So I'm gonna take with the 32nd
Oh
pick
no.
in the NFL draft. I'm gonna take A.J. Brown, wide receiver out of Ole Miss.
I like that
Because he's
pick a lot.
better than DK Metcalf.
He is
And
not.
he's better than Marquise Brown. And he's a little bit worse than Paris Campbell.
What? So
I
you
think
think Paris Campbell's the best
Paris
receiver in the draft?
Campbell, it goes Campbell, A.J. Brown, Marquise Brown, DK Metcalf.
Get out of here.
Ooh,
You guys
no,
are
who's the
crazy.
kid out of Iowa State?
Oh, put him
Hakeem-
over
Hakeem
anyone
Butler.
over DK because
Yeah.
DK is not good at football.
Get out of here. You just no. I can't wait till DK goes off next
He's not
year.
going to go off because he's going to get injured
Yeah,
in like
well,
week
good thing
3.
you're going all the way to the middle of nowhere in New York to go to school, so we won't have to worry about you.
Wow.
Wow.
have to work.
Okay, fine.
But trust me,
Okay.
trust me, when we're right, we will message you non-stop.
Oh, trust me.
Claybaker,
When
you're
he
on my
scores-
team here? You agree with me? DK's
Yeah,
going to be a
I-
boss?
You know what?
Okay.
First round fantasy football draft. I'm picking DK just to spite you guys.
Do it, you won't.
I won't actually. But if you
Your
guys,
threats are like my wallet, empty.
Okay. Well, on the screen right now, you see the draft recap. Bosa, Allen, Williams, Oliver, White, Murray, Taylor, Fant, Hawkinson, Haskins, Bush, Gary, Locke, Simmons, and everyone else after that. Any notable guys you think that we should have gone first round that did not?
I would say probably Hakeem Butler probably should go up there.
Okay.
Who else? It was Taylor Rapp and the safeties probably got devalued a lot.
True. I think Nasir Adderley's a
Dalton Reisner, I thought he was gonna get picked here, but he didn't. I guess that's kind of my fault because I chose Paris Campbell over him.
Yeah. Okay. Any final
Okay. Like, can we just agree though? Probably the worst pick in the draft was Drew Lock to the Dolphins.
Get out of here.
Can anyone back me
No.
up?
Jones, that's the surprise not in the first round.
Really?
No,
I love Drew Lock.
Wait. Did anyone else notice no one drafted Josh Jacobs?
Yes.
Yeah.
No one drafted Josh Jacobs either.
This was a really bad running back.
It's a terror. I don't even understand the hype around Josh Jacobs because like Damian Harris got
Then
most
why
of the
did you
snaps.
type him in for me when I was?
Because I thought you were picking him. I thought you were gonna pick him. Okay. Any final words anyone wants to say?
Hopefully you
I had
guys.
the second best draft.
Hopefully you guys like this draft, and I won't be able to know how the teams do because I'll be watching Endgame.
I will be.
So will I.
Wait. Can we quickly segue this into a film club podcast?
Yes.
Okay.
Unfortunately not.
I'm gonna stay here for like 5 more minutes. I'm gonna give you the Matt McMaster 9.0 here for Avengers Endgame.
Okay, fine.
I hope you.
I'll stick
viewers-
around for this.
I'll stick around. Let's just 5 minutes.
Okay.
Just 5 minutes. If you guys want to stick
I can
around.
actually sit down in an actual seat
This
for
is
once.
impromptu. All right.
I've been producing this entire time. I finally get to sit down
Yes.
and relax.
All right. So,
You know what, I'll
hello,
get
welcome to the first mini edition of the Film Club podcast.
You're talking a
here.
little loud right there to the microphone, but you're
I'm
good.
sorry.
You're good.
So,
Big spoiler: Han Solo dies.
whoa, hey!
So-
whoa.
this is actually
Watch out
this is
there.
actually something that me and Claybaker are going to be doing next year because we are the presidents.
You can talk louder. You can talk louder than
That we're actually the presidents of the film club, so we're going to be doing this next year.
Nice.
So I have a little 5-minute edition here.
Like movie reviews? Just,
Movie
like, talking
movie
about
reviews,
Movies,
movie
TV.
theories, just things that we like.
What are you guys' favorite movies? Let's just start with that.
No. We got to go into Endgame because I
Okay,
got to get a
fine.
haircut in about 20 minutes.
I got it.
So the Matt McMaster 9.0. If you guys disagree, you can say afterwards, right? We'll just do a quick go around, but I
Okay.
feel like I'm going to cover everything here. So the first 20 minutes of the movie. I don't know if you guys. I saw the film clip. You know the quick like 1 minute film clip that I'm predicting.
Okay.
The first 1 minute film clip that they showed, I don't know if you guys saw, but Thanos used the stones again, and they were able to locate where he is. So the plan is to go and get the Infinity Gauntlet to then, reverse the
Can
snap.
we get a
just like
timeout
that.
really quick? Spoilers for Infinity War if you guys haven't seen that yet.
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't seen it by now, you don't
Definitely,
care. It
yeah,
doesn't matter.
yeah. So
Just making
there-
sure.
So the the first 20-minute plan is go just because Captain Marvel just showed up. She was in the 1 minute film clip. So she just showed up. They're gonna go there. They're gonna defeat Thanos, and then they're gonna take the Infinity Gauntlet and reverse the snap. I think this is going to happen. I think the first 45 minutes they're going to defeat Thanos. Yes, they're going to defeat Thanos. Captain Marvel's going to grab the gauntlet, right? She's going to try to reverse the snap, and something tragic is going to happen. She might die, okay? She might kill someone.
I don't
Good,
know.
I hated Captain
The
Marvel.
gauntlet.
Whoa.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
The gauntlet. I think the most likely response is that the gauntlet might be destroyed with the Infinity Stones because it can't handle. I don't know if all of you know, but the gauntlet did get really wrecked
Yes.
when the snap hadn't happened.
I agree.
Tony makes his own gauntlet.
We'll get to that. So then,
Thor
I
dies
think the
again.
gauntlet is going to be destroyed. All right, they can't use it anymore. They can't reverse the snap. All the Infinity Stones are gone, and Thanos is going to be like, "Fate wills it so." So
They understood.
Yeah, you cannot hear that.
they're going to be like, Thanos will be like, "Fate willed it so."
not
You
Bane.
you
You're-
can't So then.
Wrong universe. Right.
So then.
I watched Shazam this weekend. It's beautiful. It's a great movie.
Dark Knight.
So 20 minutes later, right? Tony Stark is going to show up, right?
Tony Scott.
Tony Scott. Tony Stark's
Michael
going to show
Scott's
up. I think in
brother.
the first 5 minutes we're going to see him try to escape, and then we'll see in between them going to get Thanos see another scene with Tony and Nebula doing something, and then after the first battle when they lose and something bad happens, Tony Stark's going to show up, right? And they're going to be like, God, okay, we got to think of another plan. Tony's here, and Tony's going to be like, you know what? I think we should give up. And then Scott Lang's going to show up. okay? And that's going to be the big turning point for the movie. Scott Lang's going to show up. Everyone's like, oh my God, I thought you were dead. You're disappearing. And Ant-Man's going to say, well, this quantum realm thingy, is pretty neat. If you guys want to,
Actually, probably what he's going to say, this
Yeah.
quantum realm thing.
This quantum, he's like, I just
That's what
can't,
Ant-Man's gonna say.
I just used this thing, and I don't know if you guys want to use it or not, but it's got some pretty cool stuff, bro.
No, they're gonna do the speed montage.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. No, so I know my friend, no, I can't do it, Luis. It's okay. But they're gonna go in interdimensional time. They're gonna go to another dimension, right? And they're going to collect the stones. And that's kind of it's very broad, it's very vague. I don't know what's gonna happen after that. There's definitely a lot that I left out. But the base of the movie is that they're gonna lose the first 40 minutes. Scott Lang's gonna show up. The movie's gonna turn. And then they're going to go into another dimension using the quantum realm to get the Infinity Stones.
Yeah, since I'm also going to be co-hosting this podcast with
Yeah, talk about-
Matthew McMaster. Yeah, I'm closer. Okay, jeez.
Okay.
Calm.
I'm just making sure that the people can
Anyways,
hear.
so I'd say a lot of that is nice, but I'm not really worried about what plot happens because we all kind of predict that they're going to win in the
Who's
end.
gonna die?
That's what I'm wondering because I'm wondering.
Dude, you see the tweet from was it Chris Evans?
Chris Evans, he was like,
Obviously,
end of an era or
yeah, I know.
something.
It's been grateful
See,
playing Captain America.
here's
Yeah,
the-
he's
America
gone.
dies.
He's gone.
Black Widow dies.
Tony Stark's gonna retire,
Tony
but he's not
Stark-
gonna die.
No, because he has his dad arc that he has to.
Yeah.
True, exactly. He's gonna just retire and be a
Yeah.
'Cause it's
family
been
man.
all but confirmed.
You cannot lose Robert Downey Jr. Not just so okay, you kill Iron Man and it's good for the film and stuff. As Marvel, you cannot lose Robert Downey
He's
Jr.
a big moneymaker.
He is the backbone. It started with him. If you lose him, it's probably not going to end.
Steven,
All right,
we cut you off.
Just
We're
to
sorry.
end this off real quick because we obviously gotta get going.
Oh, true. You're right.
I'm interested in seeing what it's going to cost because obviously Phase 4 and the next saga, none of these characters are going to be main roles. They're all going to be supporting whoever survives or not. So that's going to be the interesting thing to see at the end of this movie. But yeah, me and Matt will be hosting a podcast a little bit about film, maybe a little TV. We'll see.
Yeah, we got to figure it out. It's
Yeah, but it will be next year. And yeah, you'll see that on maybe the newly branded Media Crew channel.
Yeah. Also, real quick, I think that my predictions got Captain America, Hawkeye, and the Hulk. So,
The Hulk. Oh,
sleeper
I hate to spoil
sleeper
it.
pick.
No, it's because. Oh my god. What's the name of the guy
Okay.
who plays the Hulk?
Ruffalo.
Marfler.
Don't talk about anything.
All right, we're done.
I am going now.
Okay.
That's
nice.
great. Great
Thank you guys all
podcast,
for
guys.
watching.
Thanks,
for listening.
Mike.
Thanks for all.
Thanks, Mike, for
listening.
ruining everything.
Have a great rest of your week or weekend, depending on when you guys listen to this. Make sure you guys tune in for the next show and our next broadcast. Hopefully, a baseball game up on the channel soon enough. Have a great week or weekend, and go Don.